today, a big day in the court system. Well, for at least one guy who arguably probably should have taken the plea deal. I imagine that's what he'll probably be thinking by the time they get to the end of this. But the P. Diddy trial got underway today with jury selection. So his day in court begins. And to talk about it with us, Jeremy Rosenthal, our legal expert. And Jeremy, judging by the sheer amount of evidence that they've been talking about with the video and the audio and all the other stuff, and the, 3 semi-truckloads of baby oil that they pulled out, this seems like an open and shut case, unfortunately, for P. Diddy.
Well, first off, I like that you guys always blame yourselves here. That's probably actually my fault. But when you're a lawyer, what you do is you look for these types of gaslighting opportunities to turn it into somebody else's fault. So never show weakness. Right. This is like don't invite the vampire into the house. I mean, that's just nothing good's going to happen, right? The feds are good at this, and when the feds come, they come hard. They took a real long time to get the goods on P. Diddy. They raided his house in California and I think in Miami at the same time. They measured twice and they cut once, and most of these trials are over punishment. So they're going to do everything they can do to run up the score. That much is sure.
So he's facing basically life in prison if he gets convicted on all of this.
If you add it all up, it's a long time. Yeah. The feds go by what's called the federal sentencing guidelines, and what that is a matrix. So think of a graph or a grid, right? And you score certain points for your criminal history. If you've ever been in trouble before, you score certain points based on is it a violent offense, based on is there a weapon, based on are you an organizer of it, based on financial issues and white collar cases, and then you can kind of tack those onto each other. So and the feds do it. They do a month by month calculation, and there's no parole. So you can get yourself a 287 month sentence out of something like this and divide that into 12. And I went to Texas Tech, so I can't, it's going to take me like an hour to figure that one out. But yeah.
The jury selection in this is going to be interesting. That obviously got underway today. This, New York is an interesting place when it comes to jury selection, no less when you have somebody as high profile as this, right? I mean, that does make a difference.
Right, and this is federal court too. Donald Trump last year had his jury trial in Manhattan. I mean, and think about it like this. I mean, Trump is the most recognizable human on the earth. Right. And you were able to, in theory, depends on what you think of the jury there, but you were able to see the jury for him. Now that's state court, and I don't know how many potential jurors they had there. In Diddy's case, it's federal court, and it's 600 people is what I read that they brought in. Federal court jury selection is a lot more controlled than state court. In state court, they let the lawyers kind of talk, and from what I'm reading today, the judge is interviewing people one by one by one by one. They're not set to do opening statements for another week. So they're budgeting on jury selection taking quite a bit of time. And it's pretty arduous. It's like that Snickers commercial, right? Not going anywhere for a while. So this is going to take a minute.
With the charges, the particular charges that he's facing, I mean, even if he's only convicted of 1 or 2 of these charges, I mean, he's still looking at a pretty considerate amount of jail time.
Oh, right. Right. Yeah. I mean, and look, when you're a federal prosecutor, you throw the book at people. You hit them with you throw all the spaghetti on the wall and you see what sticks. And you can be acquitted. Look, I mean, when you're facing 20 federal charges, you win 5 or 6 of them. You feel pretty good about it, but you get smacked with the other 15. And I mean, it didn't really, it might go on my website, right? That we were able to win some of them, but the fact is, you're still in prison. So you're just not. There's just too many. There's just too many raindrops to walk through all of them. So that's kind of the challenge when you face a lot of these different types of charges.
this case interesting because obviously there are going to be names of other people who come up in this case. I am interested to see how many people are willing to work with the feds in order to keep their name out of it. Is that something that's likely to happen?
Well, I think you saw a handful of people that kind of came out ahead of time that just right when this broke, they came out and, sort of prophylactically. I think Ashton Kutcher was one of them that came out and said, not me, I think Dave Chappelle, when he hosted Saturday Night Live, he kind of made fun of it. He was like, all these people, all I learned was that, all these people got invited to P. Diddy's party and I never did, I mean, what's wrong with me? But yeah, there's a lot of people who've been coming out prophylactically kind of saying, hey, not me. I wasn't involved with this. And yeah, is it possible that the feds have made deals with people that we don't know who they are? There's a chance that we're going to learn something throughout this trial, and yeah, there's some Hollywood people that are kind of sweating, watching the live updates, watching their Twitter feed, or, and they're like hoping that their name doesn't get thrown out in the courtroom. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's going to be kind of one of the more scintillating facets of this case is, there's some folks that are sweating right now, hoping that their name doesn't get dropped, or we may see a surprise witness that comes in the courtroom and says, yeah, I was there and here's what I saw. That can absolutely happen.
Is it surprising to you that they have not let him out? Like he's not out on bail or bond?
No, these are really severe charges, and you've also got a guy who is really, really mobile, right? You've got a guy who could be anywhere in the world. In fact, I want to say that when they busted him, when they executed these search warrants on him, he was on a plane. Now he didn't know that this was happening, so it wasn't like he was purposefully trying to flee the jurisdiction, but he just happened to be going to somewhere not America in his party lifestyle when they came and arrested him. Right. But no, I mean, and the federal system is not like the state system. In the federal system, there are certain category of offenses where there is a presumption of detention. You don't necessarily in state court, in almost all instances, in Texas anyway, and most states kind of do it in a similar fashion. You can post a bond, you pay the money, you get out of jail, and that's the case for the vast majority of cases, even severe ones. In the federal system, you have a presumption of detention in a lot of more severe cases, human trafficking, or racketeering, as Diddy's charged with. So it's not uncommon for them to keep their clamps down on him. So I would have been pretty surprised had they let him out.
I guess there's also the possibility that he could offer up some information to the feds that would make them lighten the load on him a little bit.
But yeah, potentially. But I mean, when you're the guy they want, it's kind of hard. You got to make it good, right? I mean, when you're the guy in the middle of this, I mean, let's say you're the feds are clamping down on the real big fish. The big fish is going to say, well, I'll tell you. Let me tell you the guy who is running the drugs for us, we don't care about that guy. We care about you. So it's going to have to be pretty good. And I don't, not only that, but I don't know what kind of concessions the government was willing to make in terms of a plea bargain offer here. Probably not a lot. I think this is one of those cases that it's just sort of understood. This is just going to be a trial.
Right. And unfortunately for us, there's not going to be any cameras. There's not going to be any microphones. We're all going to be left to basically the transcripts and artist interpretation of the courtroom, essentially.
I mean, we're deprived in this country. We deserve our, I want my MTV, right? I want my entertainment. This is going to be, I mean, yeah, I'm with you. This would be like, to me, I mean, this would be like watching, like the NHL finals, I mean, let's go and watch some people get knocked around, the ice. This is going to be some hand-to-hand combat of a trial. But it's up to the judge and those things. Some judges can, are okay with that. are okay with cameras in the courtroom. Others not so much.
Right.
But yeah, if it was me, and not that anybody's going to appoint me to a federal bench anytime in my life, but if it was me, I mean, I don't see what's so hard about showing everybody here's what's going on in here. I think that lends some transparency to the process. I mean, we read about what happens in court, and to kind of go back and to talk about Trump's trial last year. Perfect example. You've got all sorts of media who's in the courtroom, and they're the ones who are relaying it. Well, based on your political preferences, you're just going to say, well, when the CNN guy says that Trump did this, and then are you going to believe it, or are you not going to believe it? Why can't we just see for ourselves? We'll be the ones who decide who made a crafty face from the witness stand, right? We don't need the news media telling us, and we don't need that spin on it, and we don't need that lawyer, So I'm with you. I would prefer just to see it.
I mean, this is basically rich people behaving badly, right? I mean, this is essentially what this case plays out to, and he has there's a very mixed public opinion of this guy. I mean, I think most people think that he's just nuts, which I think I think he's pretty much just nuts. Which could he go down the insanity route? Because I'm thinking he might want to think about it.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get there. And I'll tell you this, he had a deadline of about a month ago to file for that.
Right.
So I think you would see that. But no, and sort of to your point, what you've seen a little bit of is jury selection. That's what people are being asked. Do you know this guy? Have you heard of him? What have you heard of him? Baby oil has gotten thrown out. I think somebody just released a tape. I think it was CNN just released a tape of him hitting a woman 2 or 3 weeks ago, and a handful of jurors saw that. So they're gone. That was their lucky ticket out of there. I mean, so yeah, that's one of the problems when there's so much data about you, when there's so much info about you out there.
I think anybody under the age of 50 is kind of out, basically. Right? I mean, that seems I think he's 55 years old. I think he is.
Oh, you think, man? Okay. You maybe, I don't know. I'm over 50. So, so I mean, I'm like, yeah, of course he's a big deal, but you're right. Maybe it's the younger people who would be like, yeah, this old guy,
right. This has got to be, I mean, does it rank up there with the O.J. Simpson trial? I don't know, but it certainly is high profile. You don't get much more high profile than P. Diddy. I mean, the guy was a music mogul and an empire mogul. I mean, this is at least at the Harvey Weinstein level, yeah.
Oh, sure, yeah, easily, and yeah. If you're ranking that these things and you're handicapping it, I put him over Harvey Weinstein. Although I guess Weinstein was, he's pretty big too. OJ, man, yeah, that's, there's only one trial of the century, right?
Right.
And it's, the best all-time closing argument. Anybody who wants to argue with me, the glove don't fit, you must acquit. I mean, we still talk about that line today, right? That's, and whether you like it, whether you didn't like it, you remember it. So that was good.
I remember when that line got delivered in court. I remember, sitting glued to the television watching that, and it was like right there. You just go, "Oh, I'm pretty sure he just got off with that." Right? Like, I'm pretty sure this is going this way at this point.
Oh yeah, and prosecutors everywhere for decades got lectured on don't do live demonstrations in front of the jury. Right. Yeah, no, and anytime we do something live in front of a jury, man, you plan that thing 7 ways till Sunday,
right?
And you better be darn sure you know how that thing's going to go. Right. So because it's live theater, and There's no
redos in the courtroom.
No,
unfortunately. No redos.
Nope.
Jeremy, always a pleasure to have you, my friend. We always appreciate the expertise. Have a great rest of your day. We'll look forward to catching up with you hopefully next week sometime.
Sounds good, Mark. Bye-bye.
Thanks, brother.